everyone. Thank you. Can you hear me okay, Andrea?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this terrific panel on Journey to Entrepreneurship, brought to you tonight by the Cal Poly Pomona Black Alumni Friends. We have been working hard to bring lots of good programming to everyone in the Cal Poly Pomona community, especially our students, as well as the alumni and the community at large during this pandemic where everything switched to Zoom. So thank you for obliging us and logging on tonight. I hope that this is a fruitful discussion and panel for you this evening as we look at how each of them found their unique way in their journey to entrepreneurship. I think you're going to gain a lot of insight tonight and hopefully a lot of motivation as well to perhaps think about starting your own business or even enhancing businesses that you may already have. So I'm Shauna Chambers, alumni of Cal Poly Pomona, December 95 mechanical engineering graduate. I'm very pleased and excited to facilitate tonight's panel. We have three fellow Cal Poly alumni here with us this evening. And as entrepreneurs, who we all know are super busy with their own unique businesses, we really appreciate them for taking the time out of their busy schedules to join us. So I'll kick it off with an introduction of our panel members in alphabetical order. And I see I got this out of order. So we'll start with alumna Tiffany Darrell. She comes from a family of chefs. She studied culinary arts at Los Angeles Trade Technical College and earned her associate's degree in culinary arts. She transferred then to Cal Poly Pomona, where she earned her Bachelor of Science degree in Hospitality and Restaurant Management from the Collins College of Hospitality Management. She's a certified culinarian through the American Culinary Federation, as well as ServSay certified and a licensed and insured professional caterer and event planner. She studied abroad in Florence, Italy, where she earned a certificate at the Apicius Italian Cooking and Wine School, and she's certified as a level 1 master sommelier or wine steward. She has over 20 years of experience, including working for many restaurants under the tutelage of many different chefs. One particular experience that stands out is her work as service manager and beverage and hospitality manager for 4 years at Red Lobster. She's currently living her dream since opening Tiffany's Catering and Bakery in Monterey Park in February 2014, where her company provides 24/7 catering and event services and has a chef serving tasty barbecue Monday through Thursday. During the pandemic, they are also preparing and delivering delicious meals to customers at home and catering and serving micro events of guests numbering from 2 to 50. She loves to travel the world. And in fact, in 2019, Tiffany traveled Europe for 30 days and explored Greece, Italy, Paris, and Spain. And the list goes on and on for the many places she's traveled. As expected, she takes the culture, food, music, and people back with her from her many travels and incorporates them into her cooking. So we welcome Tiffany Darrell to our panel tonight. And next we'll introduce our alumnus, Tony Nelson. Tony is a dedicated, energetic, hardworking broker owner of his own real estate company, Synergy One Real Estate, located in Ontario. His real estate career of approximately 28 years started in Los Angeles. He provides unparalleled customer service to countless satisfied clients since 1992. He's born and raised in Los Angeles, California, and graduated from Cal Poly Pomona with a degree in finance and real estate. Real estate is much more than a career or life goal for Tony. It's his passion, and he's dedicated his life to improving the lives through real estate. He's an expert at property valuation, and in fact, he has built 5 homes from the ground up, rehabbed more than 300 homes in the last 10 years, and has several additional home projects in the works. His experience spans numerous areas of real estate, including investments, partnerships, standard sales, flipping rehabs, short sales, probates, trust sales, negotiating for buyers, rental properties, and more. No matter what type of market we're in, he always goes the extra mile to ensure a successful closing on these challenging files. Through real estate, Tony has found a fun and exciting way to truly serve his clients, his family, his team, and the community. And finally, our third panelist is our alumna, attorney Charlene L. Usher. She is a 1991 graduate of Cal Poly Pomona and a 1996 graduate of UC Hastings School of Law in San Francisco. While there at UC Hastings, she did have an opportunity to study abroad in Rome, Italy. Her undergraduate major while here at Cal Poly Pomona was finance, real estate, and law in the College of Business. She is a life member and a member of over 20 years, serving on multiple boards of the Black Women Lawyers Association of Los Angeles Incorporated. Also has been a past member of Charles Houston Bar Association Incorporated in San Francisco. And she was the founding president in 2010 of Richard T. Fields Bar Association Incorporated in the Inland Empire. Attorney Usher will celebrate her 20th year as an entrepreneur and owner of Usher Law Group in June of 2021. Her practice is estate planning, handling wills and trusts, and probate. She enjoys spending time with her daughter, skiing, traveling, playing tennis, and visiting the many beaches here in Southern California. So we want to welcome all of our entrepreneurs tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm truly excited that you're here. Yes, applause, applause. If I could find my chat, I'd give you the virtual applause right now. Yay. Okay, so let's kick it off with some questions. And for our audience, I want to let you know the questions I'll be asking, I have some here that you submitted during your registration, but we will also check the chat and take some live questions from there as well to enhance this experience this evening. So make sure if anything pops into your head that you go ahead and submit that through the chat. So let's see, let's try to go, we'll start with your college experience, and we'll have any of you who would like to answer this question, take it on. When you were in college, did you know you would start a business at some point?
Who's the question for?
Whoever wants to answer.
So anyone who wants to answer. Tony, do you want to answer?
No, when I was in college, I thought I was going to be a banker. Well, I did. When I graduated from Cal Poly, I went to work for Wells Fargo, and I was going to take the corporate route and move up the ranks and do the whole corporate thing. And life comes at you. 2 years into it, one of my buddies asked me if I want to start a business. And so being young and naive, I said, sure, why not? And so I quit my job, and we spent the next 6 months setting up everything to start Synergy One Real Estate. So I didn't have that thought process. I come from a background where my family, my parents worked at corporate America. Most of my family's in corporate America. And I think I'm kind of the outlier. So I didn't really have that background in my family.
I would answer it the same way. I came to Cal Poly looking for a career and to be set up to succeed in corporate America. So I did not have any intention at that point of being a business owner. I will address how I thought that Cal Poly prepared me when we get to that topic. No, I wasn't planning to start a business.
Tiffany, would you like to chime in there at all?
Sure.
If you knew during college, start a business?
Well, you know, by the time I was in college, I had just finished culinary school. So I knew I wanted to be in the hospitality field. I knew I wanted to be a chef. I had amazing experiences when I was younger, going to the CIA at Greystone, and I was in culinary competitions. I had already started my catering business when I was 16 years old. I had my first event. So the catering, I knew I was always going to be involved with, but I just didn't know the extent. I didn't know I was going to be doing it full time. I didn't know that I was going to have that as my sole source of income by the time I was in college. I just knew I had an entrepreneurial spirit.
Very good. And so in keeping with that, as Charlene mentioned, we do have another question prepared for you related to the college days. How did your time at Cal Poly Pomona prepare you to be the entrepreneur that you are today? And Charlene, you were waiting for this, so why don't you kick us off with that one?
Sure. Well, being a business major in the College of Business, I felt that I was prepared because I was exposed to all the different aspects on some level. So I had to take marketing and management, human resources, and some computer classes, accounting, things that were going to be important. I didn't know how important they were going to be. They definitely are very important, but they definitely were a good foundation. So although I did not get an official master's in business administration, I have gotten one through my business by hands-on learning, and having that foundation of those business classes has definitely helped me to be able to apply it as I'm learning it, having to apply it in my business in a good way.
Excellent. And I saw a lot of smiles on that part about learning that MBA while being an entrepreneur. So Tony and Tiffany, would either of you like to share, or both of you like to share about what your time at Cal Poly, how did that time prepare you to be the entrepreneur that you are today?
When I was at Cal Poly, I had a fraternity brother that we used to sell things on campus, announcements and all kind of different things we would get involved with. I never really thought of myself as being an entrepreneur in college, but we did. I mean, when people didn't order their announcements in time, we'd go down to the computer lab and make announcements. We would do some graphics work for people in the community. And Cal Poly kind of prepared me for everything, because with the degree in FLR, finance, real estate, and law, I think I've hired plenty of accountants, plenty of attorneys, and it gives me a little basis to know a little bit about everything, basically, and a sense of completion. That's one thing that I've learned is Cal Poly told me to complete something. Started out at Cal Poly, I didn't really have a lot of direction, but I knew I wanted to graduate and complete something. And being in business, it's the same way. You're always looking to complete something, not start it, but actually complete it. So I think that really helped me to see things through.
Very good.
Well,
Tiffany, did you want to share anything?
Yes. Well, I loved my entire experience at Cal Poly, and I just delved into all the subjects. And the Collins College was known for having the best hospitality program around. And studying abroad, I was able to do that through Cal Poly when I was in Italy. And I was actually one of the first to graduate from the Cal Poly Honors College. So when I graduated, I had to write a 40-page thesis on top of my normal papers that I had to write. But just the business plans, the accounting classes, the marketing classes, all of that prepared me. And the Collins College has a hotel and a restaurant. It's totally run by the students. So that's just great hands-on experience right there. And then we had a lot of wine and beer classes, so that didn't hurt. I enjoyed all my wine classes. And so I think that Cal Poly really gave me like the foundation before I started my business.
Excellent. That is just marvelous. Let's see. So you mentioned something there that struck a chord with me. Let's see here. It was about the marketing. So some people had asked in the registration, what is the most difficult part of building and maintaining your brand and your marketing? Why don't we see what that's like?
Well, I haven't had difficulty with it, with marketing. I would say that something that's important to consider is that, especially when you're starting, you are your brand. So everything that you put out there in the public domain, about yourself, it's how people see you. So it's important that if your people who you are marketing to may be in your networks, especially now that we have social media, that you might not want to have the booty shaking pictures or the bikini photos in places where people have to see you as a serious professional, because they're making a decision about hiring you based on what they know about you. So a lot of our marketing comes from social media. Even though we're a law practice, a lot of our marketing comes from word of mouth. So it's other attorneys who work in practice areas that are not mine that refer us business every day. We get calls and people will say, 3 people gave us your name. And we always want to know, how did you find out about it? So we ask that question. And they can hardly tell us who it was, but 3 people told whoever told them, that's how they got there. So having that positive reputation in the business world, in the industry, and seeing that as part of your everyday life as well, how that ties in will help people see you as a serious person and take your business seriously.
I think I have to back off
Excellent.
of what Ms. Usher said, Attorney Usher said, is that I'm kind of late to the social media game. I still advertise by handwritten letters and postcards, and I do a lot of things like Father Day cards, Mother Day cards, Christmas cards. The biggest thing is just keeping your name out there, because people forget what you do. I don't have a billboard off the freeway to tell people, so I've always got to be pushing my name out there. And some of the old tried and tested things, like postcards that I mail to my past clients, I really try to focus on past relationships and then add to new relationships as they come along. So I'm always marketing myself. I literally, if there's a holiday coming up, I'm definitely sending something out. And I'm late to the social media game, but I've noticed that, like Attorney Usher said, everything that I have to put out there has to be very professional. It has to show me in a professional light. So I've got a young lady that works with me now that kind of helps me post things and get my name out there. Matter of fact, I got a listing the other day. The guy said, I Googled you, and then I found your Instagram page, and I like what I saw, and so I called you. And that's the first time I've ever had someone say they actually went on social media. But I'm sure
It froze up a little bit on my side. Can other people hear Tony still?
No, he's frozen.
Yeah, he
Oh,
froze.
darn.
Uh-oh.
Tony, if you can hear us, the internet connection froze for a minute. So you were saying that was the first time you had someone contact you and say that they found you through the Instagram. It's still freezing. It's been so stable. We'll see. We'll try to get that stabled and back up.
Well, I can answer the question until he gets back on, I guess. If you want, Shauna.
I'm here.
Oh, go ahead, Tiffany. If you had something to add to that, sure. Yeah, he's on. He's on. I think that was the end of his remark.
Tiffany,
so Tiffany, you want to take that one on?
Okay. I was just going to agree with Charlene that your reputation and who you are is your brand. So maintaining it is important, and it can be challenging because as a business owner, you're wearing many hats. So it's very easy that maybe one area of your business you could kind of drop the ball. So you have to make sure that you're staying on top of everything and being consistent. And when it comes to like marketing with social media, you have to stay current with your content. I know for me, I've been using IG, Instagram, and Facebook, and I basically solely only use it as a professional page. I do post a few things that are personal, but those would be like my travels. But for the most part, everything is professional. And making sure that if you are going to spend money on marketing, because marketing is very expensive, that maybe you do your research first and see if the marketing tool that you want to use is going to be beneficial for your business.
That's a very good point. In December and January, we got so many phone calls from people offering to sell marketing services. And when you're new, it sounds neat. We're going to sell you all these leads and you're going to get, and then you find out you're just spending money and are you getting a return on your investment? So you have to visit that. I also want to point out, I can't speak to every industry, but in the legal field, you have to have a website, even if you're brand new, even if it's a basic website. A website is kind of like your business card. If someone refers someone to you or they found out about you somewhere, they're going to look you up to see, are you legitimate? And that's the way they're going to find out information about you. Of course, it's all information that you put out there, but they somehow feel more confident when they can find some information about you on the World Wide Web. So we have found that we had to update our website because, of course, you can't have a 10-year-old website forever. You know, you do have to kind of upgrade, but it is important that people can be able to find you on some level to feel like that they've validated that you are actually a business.
That's excellent. Thank you for sharing that, all of you. And let's see, there was something else that they wanted to know, and that was about your passion. So you all are in different industries, yet you're all employers, or, you know, you own your own companies, and all, it seems, yes, all have employees now that I think about it. And so how did you find your passion and choose to focus in the industry that you selected? And what kind of challenges did you have? And how did you overcome those? Just in identifying which area you wanted to focus in.
Well, I was already working in my field as an attorney. I, again, did not go to college or law school thinking I was going to have a law firm. It just kind of happened where I worked for a large insurance company. I went to a big law firm. I went to a mid-sized law firm. Then I went to a small law firm. And then ultimately, you know, I just start thinking to myself, I think I can do this because clients have followed me from move to move. Not that I moved a lot, but they seem to like working with me. So I just decided that I would take a shot at it and see how it worked out. At the time, I didn't have any children. I didn't have a mortgage. I really didn't have anything to lose. If I had to eat beans, I would eat beans. So it was just me. And I started off and I said to myself, if it doesn't work out, I'll get a job. 20 years later, this is the longest I've been on any job. It's the hardest job, but the most rewarding and fulfilling job because I've learned so much in all the different phases of my business. So I think I may have lost what the question was.
No, that was perfect. That was so great. Anybody else want to take a stab at that? Let's see. It said, how did you find your passion and what were some challenges maybe that you encountered in defining, you know, what industry you wanted to launch your business in?
Well, for me, I think it was easy because someone came to me and asked me if I wanted to start a business. So I kind of fell into it. And real estate there's so many different things you can do in real estate. And I kind of started out doing real estate loans. And then that kind of turned into real estate sales. And along the way, I started building houses with different business partners. And currently I have about 6 or 7 different partners. I'm adding one right now, and we own property together. I do the property management along with one of my assistants. There's so many different things you can do in real estate. And so if it's not building something, I'm rehabbing something, I'm managing something, I'm selling something. And I think when you say the passion, my passion comes from the challenge. I take on some of the hardest deals because I love the challenge. So selling real estate is not that complicated, but there's complicated deals that you can take on. And that's where I love it. I mean, we were speaking before we started the panel about probate. Probate sounds really simple, but there's a lot of moving parts, as Attorney Usher will tell you. And it's always something new, and there's always a new challenge, and it kind of keeps you going because there's always something new coming up on the horizon.
Fantastic. Tiffany, I know you came from a family of chefs, and you even started your first catering business at 16, was it?
Yes.
And so how did you come to find it as a passion?
I basically grew up, since I was a little girl, knowing what I wanted to do. I was very determined, but I started cooking, and my family hosted many parties, and I love throwing parties. So hospitality was already kind of a part of of my family and of what I was already doing. And I never really wavered. I literally never wavered. I've been dead set on being a chef and being in the hospitality industry. But as far as like challenges, I would say that keeping client relationships and having loyal clients, that can be challenging because with the mix of business, you will gain some clients and you'll lose some clients and you get new clients. So I've kind of had to start to diversify my products and services that I offer so that basically I'm not kind of tied to one type of clientele. And I basically was able to create multiple streams of income within my own business because by being a full service caterer, I'm offering many more services besides just the food. We offer rentals, decor, flower arrangements, entertainment. So I'm at the level now where I can basically keep my income the same despite contracts changing, your clients changing, or whatever unforeseen variables. Everything basically is keeping the same because I diversified within my own business.
Can I tap
Great.
what Tiffany said? She made some really great points. And what I'm hearing is one thing that I think that business people considering going into business and business owners have to keep in mind, that you can be good at a profession, but when you become the business owner, you have to go to the high level. And that's what she's talking about right now. She has to see the big picture and be able to make sure her business is adaptable and able to be flexible to whatever the market changes are. So I could be a good attorney, and that's the practice of law, like doctors, a practice of medicine. But the business of having a law firm is a whole nother animal. And I have to know that I have to be good at that. And fortunately, my preparation was my business degree, undergraduate, and then my law degree. So I worked in both areas, but I always have to remember I'm the business owner. I have to make sure payroll will be met. I have to make sure that we will have clients. I have to make sure supplies are there. I have to make sure technology is in place so that my team can do their job. We can deliver and our name and our reputation stays good. So all those things mean that there's a business side of your business, which requires you to be in that position. Otherwise, you won't have one. It will not be long, you won't have longevity. And then there's the actual practice. So at some point, you can't really be all of it. If you're going to grow, you're going to have a team, which means you have to learn how to recruit a team, manage a team, keep a team. So I got that out of listening to what Tiffany was talking about, because she definitely has to be the CEO and keeping in charge of all those different things that are happening within her industry and within her business.
That is excellent. I think that really kicks us off into a good path to this next question, which is exactly about the business side of business. They want to know if, as an entrepreneur, if they're going to need a business plan and how many hours they will have to dedicate to their business. And then someone else even asked, if you're a small one-person home-based business, you know, do you suggest having a business license and joining chambers of commerce? So all of these are like, what I'm thinking is like the businessy side. It's not the fun, you know, cooking side of being a chef and showing the home side of selling homes and meeting with clients to help them plan their futures in estate planning. But they want to know, you know, some paperwork. Do I have to go through all of that as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. No cutting corners. Sorry.
Well, I want to
And so did you start right away with it? Like, did you know right away, okay, I got to go get the business license? And I know there was like fictitious business names in the newspapers back in the day. It's probably online now. Did you guys all know that all of these things were required?
Well, you find out, especially if you're going to do any business with any government agency or a city or a county, then you find out what all these requirements are, because they definitely want you to be insured and want you to have all these certifications.
Yeah.
And then when you're talking about joining organizations, of course, this is in the before times when we could gather in person. Those were opportunities to get your name out there. So I have always been threatening to write a book called Not Working, because I don't think networking is a bad word. I like people. I like meeting people, learning their stories, sharing my story. I always feel like there's an opportunity that's going to come out of there, and whether it comes today or tomorrow or in the future, but you have to get your name out there. And in the past, it was going to actual physical events so people could know you and say, oh, did you hear about so-and-so? You should give her a try and that kind of thing. And now we're in a different world. But I think that if there's a way to do that, even through the Zoom process, if you're new, you have to have a way to get your name out there.
Excellent. So Tony and Tiffany, how was the paperwork side for you? The business plans, licensing, naming your companies, networking and all of that. How was that for you starting out?
Well, starting out, I had two business partners. So we sat down and met and put together a plan. I wouldn't say it was so much a business plan, but it was more or less, responsibilities. Who was going to do this, setting up everything, getting the office set up, getting the technology together. We each had a part to play. But as far as, I think there was one of the questions about how much time does one have to put into it. They always say Elon Musk said he worked 100 hours a week. And, being an entrepreneur, it's starting out, you're going to put in some time, but that's what you have to do in the start. I'm sure Tiffany's done the same thing. I'm sure Attorney Usher's done the same thing. You're going to put a lot of time, but you're going to be rewarded for it later on. I mean, I think the simple thing is that, you get in it what you put, you get out of it what you put into it. And if you're not willing to work harder for yourself than you work for someone else, I'm always amazed that people will work harder for someone else than they will work for themselves. I've got friends that tell me they want to start a business and they look at it as an opportunity to have more free time. I kind of laugh and I tell them, I go, no, you don't start a business to have more free time. You start a business to work harder for yourself than you work for anybody else. That's why, and again, it's not a knock. I tell some people are good employees and some people are good entrepreneurs because I don't have a clock. I mean, I'll wake up sometime at 4 o'clock in the morning. That's when the day starts. And it's not because I don't like what I do. I love what I do. I mean, I can wake up at 4 and go till 12 because I love what I do. And I know I'm getting 100% of my efforts. I'm getting paid. No one's going to ever pay me more than I pay myself. I earn for myself. So yeah, you're going to put in a lot of time. You're going to put in probably more time than you should put in more time than you'd work for somebody else. And I think that's one of the things that the question was, is like, do you have to work a lot? Yeah, you're going to work a lot, but you're going to be compensated way beyond what somebody else would pay you. I mean, if someone's paying you $100,000, you're probably worth 2 or 3. I know my brother is an attorney, and I remember when he first got out of law school, I picked him up from the airport one time, and he was working. I mean, it was his Christmas. He came home, and he says, "I got to fly back in 2 days." And the whole time he was home, he was working. Got back on the plane, and he was working. And so, they were paying him a good amount of money, but I'm sure Sherman and Sterling was probably making, 2, 3, 4 times what they were billing him out. So, yeah, you're going to work hard. You're going to work hard, but it's worth it. Let me tell you. I mean, there's nothing more rewarding than having your own business. I mean, it's just the most amazing thing. So.
That's a very good point, Tony, because I think people have the mistaken belief that business owners just have, like you mentioned, all this free time. They can do what they want whenever they want. Yes, you have the license to work very hard and work a lot of hours. For me, I have more flexibility. Yeah. 10 years into my practice, I became a mom, and I did that intentionally, and I wanted to be there and present in my daughter's life. So I wanted a flexibility to have my parenting be the way I wanted to and not to have to answer to someone else. Does that mean I work at night? Does that mean I may have to put in some time when I don't want to be putting in time? I'd rather be doing something else like sleeping. That sometimes happens. Now, not now, because now I've been doing it for quite some time. I've put systems in place. But in those beginning years, it was a lot of weekends and evenings. And I have flexibility, but because I had to be the marketing person and the attorney and the business person, initially, those were all me. So I had to put that time in. The jobs had to get done. So it's not like I'm trying to get a job for a cakewalk.
I agree with everyone. You're going to put in a lot of time. I think in the beginning, if you're working or you already have a job, maybe you're just putting in 20, 30 hours a week or working your business part-time until you can build up to where your business is full-time. But once your business is full-time, it's 24/7, because at the end of the day, everything starts and stops with you. So there is no taking off or anything like that. I think in the beginning, you're a little bit more tied to your business too. So as you start to grow, you can start putting, like Charlene says, systems in place, and you could take off, or you could go on vacations, and you could have someone else in your place to continue to run your business, or your business continues to run even if you're not there. So getting to that level is really important. But I just wanted to say, on a personal note, ever since I started my business and to this day, I keep myself on a schedule. I treat my business as a business like any other business. Because if you go to a job, there's a certain amount of hours that you have to work. So every Monday, I do all my accounting, my emails, my consultations with my clients. I've been doing that for the last 15 years, and I still do it to this day. I keep myself on a tight schedule, because if you do work from home, you could kind of think, oh, well, I'm at home. I'm probably sure right now during the quarantine, a lot of people got sidetracked because they were working from home, but you have to stay on target. So I always keep to a schedule. And when you were talking about business plans, I actually wrote my own handbook, my staff handbook, and made videos for the staff. And I wrote my own marketing plan, my own business plan. So I did everything that I learned in college. I did do that for my business. I had my own mottos. I mean, in my website, I put everything that I had learned into my business. So yes, when it comes to that. But the things I didn't learn, but I learned along the way, was how to pay taxes, and pay taxes quarterly into the EDD, and all the financial responsibilities as an owner. And now that I have employees, I have to pay workers' comp, I have to have business liability. And there's a lot of corporations, if you want real contracts, government contracts, you're going to have to be certified. You're going to have your license. You're going to have a lot of things in place, and a lot of insurances, commercial insurance, in order to do business and continue to do business. So that's important when it comes to being legit in your business.
That's a
Very
great point that you brought up, Tiffany, about being accountable as an owner, because you don't really answer to anyone. You could just take off and do whatever, but then where would your business be? So I would like to just add in, because I know everybody's hearing work, 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 work. It's not all work. It is very important to recharge. Yeah. Even if it's a small, you might not be able to take 30 days and go to Europe in the beginning. That might be on your horizon down the road as things get built. But you might be able to take a 3-day weekend and go to the beach. I mean, we're in Southern California, so you could drive to Santa Barbara or go to San Diego. You have to do something that lets you unplug periodically. It may not be every weekend, it may not be every month, but periodically you need to recharge your battery so you can be what you need to be for your business. Yeah. You're not snapping at your employees, and you're not, too tired to give what you need to give. So I just want to make that point as well.
And I'm seeing a little bit of action in the chat. Tony, I'm going to let you respond to that in a second if you want to. But in the chat, if you don't mind, all three of you, if you can put your, social media links, addresses, what have you in there, website addresses. Some people are asking about that in the chat. And also, Tony, did you want to add something about recharging? Were you going to say something about recharging?
No, I agree. I always, whenever I'm having a tough time in business, I take time off, and it's the weirdest thing. You could have the biggest deal that I'm working on. Maybe I've been working on something for 6 months, and I'll take a weekend off and just come back on Monday, and the answer comes to me, or the problem gets solved. I must say that I pray a lot.
That's important.
So I will pray on a Friday, leave, and come back on Monday, and pretty much most of the time it works out. Being in business for yourself, you are your only cheerleader. Unless you hire a coach, a business coach, but for the most part, you're the leader. So you've got to definitely recharge, and you've got to be the can do and believe person. You can't ever let your team see that, there's problems, and not that they'll probably know, but I mean, as far as you have to be a leader, and I'm sure both Tiffany and Attorney Usher will say the same thing. You have to be a leader because people below you are looking up to you. And so, yeah, you've got to take time off. And a lot of times that you take that time off at maybe some of the busiest times, but it's there to recharge your battery.
Shauna, for
Yes.
some reason, I'm unable to put anything in the chat. So if you could just post for me, usherlawgroup.com, that's our website.
Okay, I'll see if I can get into there and put that up. For the next question, let's talk a little bit about profits and also how pandemics and different economic upswings and downturns and can affect businesses and small business owners and entrepreneurs. So they want to know, how long did it take your business to become financially, profitable and secure as your only means of income? So no side employment. And also, more pointedly, during this pandemic, how has it affected you in the real estate market, as well as, if you have any tips for somebody who maybe wants to launch in a pandemic. Oftentimes we hear, as a general population, we hear it's a good time to launch a business when you're in a down economy. So we'll kind of tackle this next.
Who wants to go first?
Well, I think that there are opportunities. I see a lot of people doing things in different areas, kind of like Tiffany, where you say, I was already working in the industry and in a field, and now how do I shift to be able to provide a service in a world where we can't have in-person dining, right? We can't have group events, so to speak. How do I pivot from that? In my area, we were meeting with clients in our office. That was a typical situation. We have not met with a client in person since March, and we probably won't go back to meeting with any for a while. But that means we have to use our technology, be able to take advantage of emails and Zoom and telephones. And at first we were shut down for a bit, which was nice to get a little break. But also we had to figure out, well, how do we still serve our clients? And especially because once April hit, people were beginning to realize, who may have heard us speak at an event or something before, I know I need to do something to get my affairs in order, but now people are dying around me, or we don't know what's going to happen. I want to make sure my family's protected. So we've been 50% busier since April in estate planning and figuring out how to make that work, because now notaries are considered to be essential workers. So they can go out if they want to. And we have people sign documents through mobile notaries, which has also happened, I'm sure, in the real estate industry and the loan industry. But we personally are not meeting with clients. Now we have to figure out, how do we ship the documents to the clients? How do we work with UPS and FedEx and all those things? And what's the time frame that we need to be on? How do we still deliver excellent service? Because the need is there and we don't want to be, leave people behind.
Excellent. And so for you, Tony, how's the real estate market been impacted by the pandemic? We know interest rates they were low. I think they're still low. What's going on in real estate?
And they're going lower. No, when the pandemic hit, I was thinking real estate was going to die. I was thinking that people weren't going to want to go and see property, but it's been quite a boom. I mean, I sat down with my team March 15th and I said, we're going to come out the other side this stronger. And they looked at me as if I was crazy, but for some reason, it's been amazing. The interest rates have dropped lower. People are coming out of the woodwork to buy and to sell. People that you normally would think aren't. There's a lot of people that are looking at this as an opportunity to transition to another place. I've got quite a few clients that are moving to Las Vegas, Columbus, Ohio, Nashville, Tennessee. I mean, people that they normally wouldn't probably move, but they're looking at now like this is a time to maybe make that move. So I was really surprised. And the business has been extremely busy, real busy. So and with low interest rates has really changed the dynamics, because a lot of people can afford to buy more than they could 6-8 months ago. So it's been a boom for my business. It's really been a boom.
I think for my business, we took the hardest hit in the hospitality. So restaurants or anybody in the service industry, nail salons, barbershops, they're all closed. So I think the word pivot has been like the top word of 2020 and 2021, because you've had to pivot your business in order to stay alive and stay, survive survival basically during a pandemic of this nature. And I would just say that I'm human being like everybody else. I panicked. People called me and canceled all their events starting in March of last year. So I didn't know basically what I was going to do at the time, but I learned real quick. I had to pivot. I think within 1 week, I was already sending out a menu for home delivery. That was within 1 week of the pandemic. But I think I've been blessed by these micro events and being able to basically fill out all the grants and all the financial help that's out there right now for small business. And a business like mine, they have a lot of grants for restaurants, and I was able to get a couple of those grants. So that's what's really helping me in my business to keep going, because it was mandated to not have any gatherings. So when you're in the event business, but you can't have any events, it's a big hit.
Yes, certainly. Oh, we are definitely looking for better days ahead. Let me tell you, all of us. And I hope everyone on this webinar is saving their money, and you've got all their contacts now, and you're going to invest in all of these great Cal Poly Pomona alumni run businesses. And particularly when we can go back, I'm having a big birthday change this year, front number change, as they say. And I told my mom earlier, I was like, I would have had a big party, traditionally. And I said, I was telling Tiffany, I'm going to be saving my money, and I want to have a nice event after this is all over. We're going to celebrate.
Prepared for you.
Yes. And I hope everyone, is able to do that. If you're still doing okay financially, because some people are not, God bless them. And, that we can save a little bit. I see the young folks investing in GameStop and driving that up. So I think the young folks, the college students and millennials, they have some money. They are putting it into GameStop and AMC right now and making Wall Street mad because they ain't losing. Okay, so save that money and invest it with these great business entrepreneurs we have. Let's see. So what we have left here in the questions, we may fold this into our closing remarks for the panel. You can choose to put sprinkle some of this into your closing remarks. We'll give each of you quite a number of minutes, to impart any other knowledge, anything that came to your mind that maybe we didn't know to ask. But I'd like to hear, maybe if you'd like, some skills, that every entrepreneur should have, if you can think of anything along that line, any advice you want to give them. And all of you have employees. So, if you have any family members as employees, how's that working out, or friends, how did that go? How's it going? Any parting remarks from each of you? Let's see, should we go in alphabetical order? Tiffany, you want to kick us off?
Well, definitely being flexible, being adaptable in your business, showing up, following through, finding your niche, and I would say, as an entrepreneur, just follow your dreams, follow your heart, follow your passion, do what you love to do. It's very hard working for another company and you're not loving what you're doing. So I think you could be successful. You could do very well if you love what you do, and just never give up. It's going to be a lot of challenges. It's a lot of self-talk. You have to be your own cheerleader a lot of times and cheer yourself on and tell yourself to keep going. And it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in the beginning when you're building your business and trying to build it to a certain platform, like how you said, where there's no other income but your business as your only source of income. So you just got to keep pushing through. And there's always going to be family and friends to support you and help you. And they also can give you advice. But at the end of the day, you have a vision for your business and you got to stick with that. And just thank you for having me. It's wonderful.
Excellent. Well, we so appreciate you being here. I have to tell you, this panel has been so dynamic. We are learning so much from all of you. I've heard just so much information. As an MBA, I'm going to carry this one with me for a long time, especially when and if I ever launch a business, because this has just been dynamic. We're getting the real deal here on Business and Entrepreneurship 101. So let's see, Tony, would you like to give us any advice or maybe some skills that every entrepreneur should have, and anything that maybe we didn't ask that you think, you feel led to share?
You would ask for a skill. I think the biggest thing is, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you need to be resourceful. You need to call upon all of your systems. Attorney Usher said that you're the business person, you're the IT person, you're the accountant. And what I've really learned is that I've hired some great accountants, I've hired some great attorneys, I've hired some of the greatest, great people to help me get through navigate the business world. And I probably know so much more about the law than I ever thought I would, whether it's tenants' rights, dealing with different properties and different issues, and dealing with probates, and dealing with so many different things. I've learned so much more than I think I would have learned if I was working for somebody else. And on the other thing, you had said something about, is it a good time to start a business? And I think it's always a good time to start a business. You can always find a niche, some need that needs to be addressed. And I'm sure there's a lot of needs that people have right now that are being addressed that weren't there 6, 8, 9 months ago. So it's always a great time to start a business, as long as you have a need that needs to be filled, and somebody's stepping in there right now. I mean, look at what's going on with Uber Eats and Postmates and all these different companies. I don't think they were very big before, and now they're going crazy. And you even look at Airbnb. I mean, that business was actually kind of going down, and now the stock's going crazy. They did their initial offering. So there's a lot of needs that need to be taken care of out there. And if you want to start a business, find out what needs to be done and go for it.
That
My
is
internet
excellent.
connection, I think, went a little bit down.
Yeah, we heard you though. That was
Am I
a
still
great.
here?
Yes, we can hear you.
You know what, Shauna? I'm not sure, but
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that everyone who's on, before anybody leaves, that they got all of our information as far as our Instagram, our social media, our websites. Was that put out to everyone?
I've been seeing them all put into the chat. And so thankful for the board members, Corey and also Carl, have been posting all of your web pages and Instagram addresses. And I see Tony's got his name and telephone number, company name there as well. We have thank you from our president, Teresa Eoff, for sharing all this great information. And she had to leave early due to some other time commitments. But yes, all of your information has been shared. So everyone, again, make sure you utilize this information. I personally have already used one of the businesses, Charlene's, for my living trust. And Tony and I have talked about some real estate. And now that I'm aware of Tiffany's catering business, I have been on her Instagram. And let me tell you, I'll be there for some barbecue before this pandemic is up. And hopefully catering on the other side, So Charlene, we're going to have closing remarks, everyone, so don't leave, but we want to give our panelists, Charlene, an opportunity to state some skills that every entrepreneur should have, maybe some advice she'd like to give, anything that you want to tell us that we didn't ask.
Absolutely. Well, I like to piggyback on what Tony said about being resourceful. And that tags on to what I believe is one of the hallmarks of a good business person, is having good people skills, because you never know what your needs are going to be. You can't, you don't have a crystal ball, but the more people you know and have in your network, the more you can reach out if you have a question or if you have a need for something. So people come to me as an attorney, and I don't practice kitchen sink law. I practice the area that I specialize in. I spend a lot of time a lot of time learning my area, becoming an expert at it, and keeping up to date on the law. So when people call me about family law matter or criminal law matter or other matters, I'm going to refer to my wide networks that I keep going, because I'm not going to step into a pool that I cannot help you with. If I was getting a divorce, I'm going to my family law friend. If I get arrested, I know I have a right to remain silent and get an attorney. If I don't know anything about how it works in the criminal world, and I don't want to mess it up and end up staying in jail. So those are just my tips on being a people person, being able to have those people skills. It will also serve you when it's time to do recruiting for your employees and your team, because you need a team. Sometimes the team is employees, sometimes the team are outside people who you're going to outsource to. But always keeping your name professional out amongst whoever you are interfacing with, being a lifelong learner. So I have to always be up on whatever the law is in my space. But I also need to know how to do this technology. And I'm not a techie. So I have to go out there and look out. Now we have all these things on the internet as resources. The last thing I would say is that if you're thinking about going into a business and it's something that you're already doing, like you work in that field, try to pay attention to the business side of what's happening. Because I worked in a law firm before, but I didn't know about the expenses and all the things. I just showed up to work. I sat at my desk. I went to court. The telephone worked. The computer worked. That wasn't my problem. My problem was to draft the documents and make sure I showed up in court and handled the things for the clients. Well, when I became a business owner, all the rest of those things became my issues. So I needed to pay, I wish I had paid even more attention. But if you're a part of industry groups and other things, you have sources and resources for how you can solve those problems if you are in networks. So you can't do anything on your own. I will say that.
That's excellent. I'm going to check the chat once more to make sure I'm not missing any questions. We're getting some wonderful feedback from everyone out there who's listening. Tiff's Catering is the best. Thank you. Fernald Swearingen and Aaron Bratton. Thank you to every one of our great panelists, great advice and insights. So I'm not seeing any questions in there at this point. We are going to turn it over to Corey Gaither, who's on the Cal Poly Pomona Black Alumni and Friends Board. And we're going to have Corey make some closing remarks. And I guess if he has any questions, short questions he might want to answer. Corey, are you on? Can we pin him up somehow?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I do hear you. It's a little low.
Okay, so sorry about that. I know it's raining, so the connection's acting funny tonight, but I want to thank everyone for coming out and supporting, all the alumni, all the community members, for sharing this event. We want to continue to support these entrepreneurs, and thank you for their time and all of the knowledge and gems they gave us. So hopefully a lot of you that are in the chat right now and on this call can kind of plot out your pathway to entrepreneurship and figure out, through a lot of the information they gave, how you can start. And their information is in the chat. Again, they are alumni. Feel free to reach out to them. I want to also remind you guys that the alumni chapter is consistently doing events and continuing to try to grow this network of Cal Poly alumni. So in the chat, I'm going to drop a link to our next event. It's the Alumni Gathering. It's an annual event where we try to have alumni come and we showcase alumni that have been groundbreakers, are leaders in their industry. So this year we're going to have Violet Palmer. She was the first female to be a NBA referee. And we're also going to have Barbara Boza. She is a great architect. She, by LA Curve, they had her like top 5 of architects that have put an influence on the LA landscape. So please feel free to register for that event. The link is in the box. It is free. It's for community and alumni. So it's just a great way for all of us as Cal Poly alumni to get to understand how big our network is and how much value we've added to, both the college and the local LA and LA and California community and abroad. So again, I'll leave it to Shauna to close out if there's any additional questions or if there's any other things that need to be stated.
I see a few things in the chat here. Let me just double check. Okay. And Tiffany's getting lots of support in the chat tonight. She's received major support from her family. Yes, we know, a family of chefs even. And so thank you, family. And I know Charlene's family is very supportive of her, and Tony's family. And I know his mom personally is very supportive of him. So thank you, family members and friends. And everyone has really enjoyed this panel, and they're thanking us all for everything. And Aaron Bratton says, thank you everyone for the great panels and great advice and insights. Very much appreciated. And I certainly feel the same way. I'm looking forward to some dynamic things, some future entrepreneurs of our students and those who are here and able to be live, and those who will watch this on recording. So thank you everyone for attending, and to our illustrious panel, thank you for taking out of your busy schedules to be with us. And we appreciate you. We honor you. So look forward to many more networking opportunities, either through Zoom or ultimately in person with you all. So everyone have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was wonderful.
Thank you. Very well done.
Enjoyed everyone's presentations.
Thank you.
and
I
explanations.
really enjoyed it. Really,
I'm Tiffany's mother.
that was advanced information. So,
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
learned a lot.
Yeah,
Yes.
A lot of good information. You
Hey,
guys-
Michael, Daryl.
And
Very
you,
nice.
Michael Darrell is Tiffany's
well,
father.
hey, Daryl Dutton.
3
This is
hour
Dutton
time
from
difference.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
hey, Michael.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike.
Was that James?
I
Yeah.
really enjoyed the questions. I
It was
really
all very
enjoyed
well
the
done.
questions and how they were.
Very well.
Hey, Michael.
organized.
Good
Hi.
seeing you.
Oh, wow.
That
Thank you for
Tiffany
this
is
positive
really
feedback. And
outstanding.
thank you, Mom and
Oh,
Dad, Daryl.
Yeah, I'm mom. There's her dad, her uncle, Cheryl,
Yeah.
her good supportive friend.
The questions
Like the
were
second
well.
one.
The questions were well thought out.
Yeah.
Now I know how to start a business.
Yes.
There you go, James.
Tony,
There you go, James.
Tony did a very fine job.
Yeah, that was really good information, Tony, too. So
Yeah, I thought-
you're real estate. Are you a broker or salesperson?
Excuse me?